Hello, everyone. It's Creamy and Tina.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody just having a wonderful day and that you're in the best of health.
Yes, with health being most important, as always.
So, today we have another fine subject, and it is
things that may annoy you about the DR. And not to nitpick, but we have found that these are things that people send us questions about, and when we tell them how it is, they complain. So just to let you know, these are the things that might kind of bug you about the DR. So be prepared. Don't say we didn't tell you so. The first one, construction. And if I let him, he could do a 2-hour video on what annoys him about the construction. But I will name a few, and you can elaborate on some of the stuff you said you cannot stand.
Go for it.
All right. Seems to be done very quickly and poor quality.
Right. Haste makes waste. Okay? You're just throwing it up and it's going real fast. And everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that. Mistakes can be made.
All right. Plugs. So here is a standard plug in the United States. You have one outlet here and you have one outlet here. Here in the DR, all the plugs
are sideways.
So, ladies, you know, and some men, you like the little plug-ins that are scented, or like I used to have Scentsy that actually burned the wax. So you could plug it in, and as long as no one bumped it, it was fine. Well, since it's sideways, none of those plugs work. So you can't use any of the scented plugs for the rooms. So if you have a whole bunch of those like I did when I moved here, I literally had a box full of them. I ended up having to toss every single one of them because you can't plug anything in like that. And why don't you like the sideways ones? You're always complaining.
Yeah, and it's basically like the Scentsies, you know, and it's like throws everything off when you plug stuff. Like you have a night light or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just go straight upside down. It goes sideways. Now, when I was in Europe, they're on 220. So there's always straight up. Every one of them is straight up.
Oh,
now,
yeah, it's weird. It's like a two-prong, isn't it?
It's a two-prong. Now, also, when you guys come here, the power
voltage
is on 110 like it is in the United States.
Yes.
That you don't have to worry about. But just remember, the plug is going to be almost, it's like lopsided up. Okay? So it's going to be kind of different from you if you use the ones that go straight up like you do in the States.
Yes. And plumbing. It seems that the materials and supplies that they use are very subpar, cheaper quality. For example, we were getting a leak in our master bedroom, and so we told the super, you know, we're getting this water. Is like the apartment upstairs, like, you know, do they have a leak? What's up? Well, they were having plumbing issues anyway because they had cheap pipes up. So he says, well, let's take a look. They knock a hole into our wall, and then you showed me later, it was an entire joint that had a huge crack because it was a plastic joint. So cheap, subpar materials.
And I mean, that water, it was like Niagara Falls. You could just hear it.
It sounded like a waterfall.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I
was like,
hear it coming through the wall. I said, something ain't right.
Yeah.
Then water was getting on the floors. We had to move our clothes and stuff.
My clothes.
It was just
my side.
It was a big mess.
God,
so they recently repaired it last week, and they still got to come back in here and paint it and sand it down and put it the way it should be.
So on with that would be the sense of urgency when people need to fix things.
Right.
Because literally, we complained for 2 months. They came finally on the 3rd month after I lost it. Then when they fixed it and patched it and I was like, okay, now we have like all kinds of black marks and scars and it's not painted. And they're like, yeah, we're going to come right back. So we'll keep you updated, but we're on the 2nd week waiting for them to come and just paint it. So the sense of urgency is not there at all, just to let you know. If that bothers you, you better get a house where you just want to do everything yourself, because that's the only way things are going to get done.
Oh, pack an extra bundle of patience with you when you get here.
And with the plumbing issue, you're also going to make sure that you get a lot of like Drano and things like that, because since the septic and all that is so like raggedy and used up everywhere
and sensitive,
you have to put things down because you will constantly get stopped up drains. So yeah, there's that too.
So that's the toilet and the sinks. So remember that when you come out here and you bring a family and you got kids, they can't flush the toilet paper down the toilet like they do back in the States.
No, it gets
Okay?
stuck up on
So
the
it
walls
gets
and
stuck.
just like stops everything, and then it goes back. Yeah. So, all right. Also with electric sockets, they are easily blown because we have a lot of surges of power because of power outages. So you want to make sure you have surge protectors because the sockets.
And also know where the circuit breakers are.
For real.
We
had that problem in the kitchen. I blew one in the kitchen. But really all I had a fan plugged, and I plugged in an electric air fryer, and then everything went out, and I was like, shit.
Now, see, in the States, when we had our home in Vegas, the circuit breaker box is outside of the house, not inside the house. And I kept mine with a lock on it so nobody can bother it. But here, it's on the inside of the house. You know, so you just gotta know where it's at, and you gotta know what circuit. It's by the dryer.
Oh.
And why?
All I know is you figured it out, and I was just like, oh, it's working now. That's what I keep them around for. So, another thing, sidewalks. This is like my hugest pet peeve.
God.
Because I literally, and they say, oh, it's because it's the island. Bull crap. I call bull crap on that because Puerto Rico does not have sidewalk problems like this. Sidewalks. Never walk not looking down at where you're walking. You will literally go into a hole. Am I lying? Like in front of this bank that we go by all the time, there is the hugest hole. It's like it's missing a man cover, and we've been here 2 years. They have not fixed it, so don't look for anything to get fixed. The unevenness of the sidewalk, you be walking and all of a sudden it'll go down, or all of a sudden it'll go up. You will fall on your face. I stay saying, cuidado, cuidado, to him all the time while we're walking, don't I? I'm always like, mira, cuidado, look, watch out. Because, like, the way the roads are, yeah, that's bad. But the sidewalks, honey, even if you have one, because sometimes you don't even have a sidewalk, or a small.
The sidewalks
take your eyes off. You'll die.
Like this small, trying to get through sidewalk. And then sometimes you got a pole right in the middle of that small little path. Okay.
I was talking to you one time and you were like, watch a pole. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The pole was like right in my face.
Pole almost smacked me, almost knocked me down. So that's just one of the things. Thank God it's now on every street, but for the most part, the sidewalks are in disarray here.
Yeah.
And if you bring somebody over that's handicapped, that's in a wheelchair, you got a lot of those streets that's not handicap accessible.
You would do that.
Forget it.
Yeah.
So you got to think of another plan. If you bring them out here, you take them for a walk or whatever. You just got to think of another plan because there's some sidewalks that are this high, and then some of them are this high.
Yeah.
You know
I don't even know how you would do that because some of the buildings don't even have handicap accessibility. Like they have stairs. How would you think about the place where we pay the water bill. That little mall.
Right.
You have to walk up these big stairs. They're long, but they're big. And then when you go around there, there's stairs going up.
Right.
That's it. There's no elevator. So I mean, some stuff's not. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it's not even handicap accessible at all.
And some of the best deals are $400 a month if you want to get a furnished place and a 3-story building. But just keep in mind, there's no elevator. So I mean, if you want to bring your loved one out here and they're in a wheelchair, think about that because if you got your best deal on the 3rd floor, how you gonna get that person up and down?
Shoot, how you gonna get your groceries and things like that?
Absolutely, that means a lot. That really means a lot. I would not move in a building anywhere in the world without an elevator.
Remember the Century 21? So we went through when we first got here, a Century 21 lady.
Sure did.
And that girl took us to that one building, and we had our 2 friends with us. And then we're all of a sudden walking up to what it was like 5th floor, 6th floor.
It felt
and I was like,
10th floor.
Where is this apartment? And she was like, oh, it doesn't have an elevator. You looked at me when he got to the top. He didn't even look. He was like, I don't care what that apartment looks like. I will not live here.
I ain't doing it.
Like, no.
I ain't doing it. You know, and it's normal for people in this country, in other
Yeah.
countries as well, is just use the steps. It's not a problem with not having an elevator. Okay, but if I stay in an Airbnb, I want an elevator Airbnb. If it's on the 10th floor.
You got U.S. problems. But
I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep them problems. Them problems I'm gonna keep because I tell you what, my knees ain't like they used to be. I tell you that.
Okay, so on to the next one. Substandard brands of appliances and electronics, majority coming from China.
Right.
Not saying all Chinese electronics are terrible, but it seems like the ones that they get out here are the lesser brands. So.
And some of them don't work so good. They've had problems, it's defects, and I'm just telling you, that's the way it is. So if you come out here and you find yourself buying appliances, try to get something like Westinghouse or something that you're familiar with the name.
Just remember you're going to pay more because, like, we have an LG, for example, we have an LG TV.
Right.
They sell LGs out here, but it's like triple what we pay.
That's going, man, they're going to double.
States.
Yes, sir.
But they
Yes,
have them.
sir.
But then the TVs that you see with the really great prices, you'd be like, what's that brand? And honestly, I had to remember, I was like, let me Google it. I was like, I don't even know who that is. Is that real? And then when I Googled it, I kept finding it's Chinese. And they were like, well, yeah, they have a trade embargo with, China. They get a lot of stuff here at good prices. And I was like, oh, that's why. Okay. But
And I never seen so many Hyundais in my life.
yeah.
Never. I never seen
It's
so
like
many
that in
Hyundais.
Puerto Rico, though.
Yeah, but I never.
Toyota and Hyundai everywhere in freaking Puerto Rico, everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay.
So the next one, and everybody that's been here, even if you've only been here once, that's all it takes. You will say, yes, Tina, this should have been number one, driving. So there's very little traffic lights, hardly any stop signs. I hardly see them. And if they have them, they don't pay attention. So crazy drivers, no traffic enforcement because I rarely see somebody pulled over by a cop on a traffic violation. They will get you for something else. They will not get you for traffic violation. Leads to bad driving conditions, huge traffic congestion, and on top of that, a lot of driving-related deaths. So driving.
Now, only time I've ever seen the police on the scene, and I did a video of it.
Yeah.
That was when two cars collided, and one car went over an embankment of the middle, embankment in the middle of the road. He went over it, and traffic was stopped. Everything was stopped.
Or fire. We've seen that. Remember going to the North Coast?
Yeah, a fire.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've seen. Police.
Cops on the road.
They double. They do got the patrols and everything.
Yeah.
But for the most part, okay. I've seen some streets that are dead end streets that you have no clue that they're dead end street until you get to the end of the street. Okay, I've seen some streets that don't even have stop signs going in or coming out. Okay, so I don't know where they are,
but they have stop signs in Santo Domingo. And remember the Uber guy? We were in the Uber with our son going from Agora Mall to our hotel in the Colonial District. That guy blew through 5 stop signs. I was counting.
Oh my God!
Boom!
Jesus.
He
I didn't
looked
see that.
and drive and look and drive. And he did not stop all of them. And Noah was looking at me, just grabbing me like, oh, "Is this real?" And I'm like, "This is how they drive." I was like this. I didn't want to look. I was like, "This is how they drive." I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't even look half the time, to be honest. I just look down or I look out the window like this because I don't even want to watch them. I'm like, I don't want to watch them drive. It's insanity. You guys know if you've been here, the way they cross, the way motorcycles will weave in and out, the way cars will just stop, and then all these cars will try to go over. So driving.
I have
driving.
Last time I was in the SUV with my friend Wayne and went north, for your birthday, and we came back, I think last July. And he's an excellent driver, but I don't see how he does it.
He yells at everybody.
He yells at him, but he's got a big SUV, and it seems like his vehicle is close. Bigger than the little small ones, and even for the motorcycles.
Yeah, they get so close.
He's got skills because he's been doing this way longer than me. And I've been all my driving is in the United States and Europe. All my driving, because I got a commercial driver license. But I'm just saying, I would rather drive in Europe than drive here. I'm telling you.
Me too.
Because the driving here can set your soul on fire. if you're not used to it.
At least you tried it. I honestly have never gotten behind the wheel of a car here in the Dominican. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't driven since I left the U.S., so I have not driven for going on 2 years.
Hey, I did it twice.
I love it, but
I did it twice. When we first got here and we went to the north to the south.
Yes.
Remember that? And I did it again when our friends were here and we drove from here to Punta Cana.
Yes.
Punta Cana and back. And those two experiences was enough for me. For me to reach in my pocket, hand my money out, and pay an Uber or taxi or whatever.
Yes.
Take me where I need to go. Thank you very much. Just get me there safely, and they can do it.
So the last is a reliable post office system for bills, especially because they bring bills sporadically, they bring bills late, or they don't bring bills at all. So you got to make sure you check all your bills online to make sure, because they will cut off service and say it's your fault you didn't pay.
And you know what? That happened to us, okay? And I went downstairs,
Yes.
our power went out, and I thought maybe we was having a power failure in the building, you know. So
It was literally the second month we were in this apartment, yeah.
right. And I'm thinking, okay, the generator kicked on for a few minutes. And I'm like, 1001.
Well, wait, to preface
1002.
that, so in the other apartment, we were getting steady bills.
Right,
because
right,
the guy would come and there was boxes in the parking garage, and they would make sure that all the boxes got their bills.
Right,
so
absolutely.
we got our bills when we were in the first apartment. So we
Right.
just assumed
Assume?
we would get our bills like that here in the second apartment, especially when we moved to an even nicer neighborhood. Negative. They did not have the right place. They were not bringing the bills on time. Like last week, you handed me and you were like, here's the electric bill. And I was like, that was due 2 days ago. I already paid that like a week ago. Don't rely on them, because they'll come, like he was telling that story. They come and they just shut it off. And they told the guy downstairs that they shut it off on us. And he literally had to go down there and pay them and say, you guys didn't send the bill. And they're like, oh, sorry. So you want to pay it?
And the bill came either a day or 2 days later.
It was a few days later. Because remember, we were like, what's that under the door? And I was like...
Now, that was a very embarrassing moment for me because I paid my bills.
Look.
And I got downstairs and asked this guy what's going on. And I'm trying to communicate with him. He's trying to communicate with me. And come to find out, the guy comes through here and he actually turns the power up that people that's not paid.
Yeah. But the good thing is that they didn't charge us any type of reconnection fee or any type of late fee. So I will give it to that. I feel like it happens so often that they're just like, well, just pay what you owe, and then we'll go and flip that back on. Because they did. As soon as you paid, they were like,
they were on.
It was on.
They was on within a half an hour.
Yeah. You got home and then it was on. So maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Or maybe you had to get home. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on. So you know what? Just gotta stay on top of it. Because that's
there's no reliable postal. So
right.
The thing is that it's not a postal service employee that's bringing you your bills. It's a guy that works for the gas company. It's a guy that works for the electric company. It's a guy that works for the water company. And they're bringing stacks of the bills to the building, and they're either handing them to the supers downstairs that work for your building, or they're going and sticking them in mail slots if you have the boxes.
Okay, so
that's all they're doing.
Okay, no, we don't have no box. Let me tell you what I seen one time.
No, they hand them to the super. I saw them hand them to the super.
But I seen them, and I was coming in for a walk or went down to Venmo pack. I watched the guy come down with a motorcycle, take a whole stack.
Oh, that was advertised. That was advertisements. No, that was advertisements.
And he threw them over the fence,
yes.
and he kept on rolling.
They do that.
So, I mean...
they do that for sales and advertisements, yeah.
Unless you got a catcher's mitt to catch it. Okay. Ball game over.
No. I have seen, though, the guy stick it through the gate hilarious. To the super, and I saw our super drop it all, and I was like, oh, God, please don't. Make sure you get them all. Did you get everybody's? So those are just things that may annoy you. May get on your nerves, may piss you off about living in the Dominican Republic, but like I say, you got to have a good sense of humor. You got to not let things bother you. You got to be a go-getter, know how to handle those problems and problem solve. Problem solving is going to be huge when you're out here, and just go with the flow. Don't let it stress you out.
Absolutely. Or reach out there and get some help, okay?
Yeah.
Or even if you have to Yep, email us.
Ask a
whatever.
local, because
A local,
honestly,
somebody.
every time we've ever had a question, we've just talked to somebody locally and they've been able to help. So
Right, absolutely.
they know.
Absolutely.
They've dealt with this their whole lives. So
But I tell you what, I was glad to have my power back on that day. I tell you, because I mean, I felt like an idiot. I thought the whole power was out in the whole area. Come to find out,
Yeah.
okay,
That
my
was-
bill was late.
that happened. That way it will
The
never
mail was
happen
late.
again.
Yeah, because we always
I pay that bill.
So, in the meantime, between time, always remember, life is to be enjoyed.
Yes, make sure you hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and hit that thumbs up like, because that is the best and easiest way to support the channel. All information is always underneath the channel on how to get a hold of us if you have any questions and how to patron the channel. We thank all of our patrons, our family, the Caribbean E family, for keeping on, keeping on.
And until the next video, mucho gracias.
Muchas gracias. Bye.
Peace.